Hello, I'm Carla. I've got Liz joining me in studio today. Thank you for practicing with us. Today's class is a very general class. We're going to do a little bit of everything. So it is quite important that you do get some props. Today we'll definitely be using a strap. You'll want to have a set of bricks and your shoulder balance supports, either the foams or some blankets. Again, it is an online class. I'm not there to watch you, to assist you. So listen to your own body. If anything feels uncomfortable, just come straight out of it. And slowly, hopefully with some support and perseverance, you'll develop in your practice. We begin today's practice in Svastikasana. So take the cross of the legs that you generally don't take, or that you don't find quite as settled and quite as comfortable, and lift up the chest. Once again, Liz and I are sitting on some support, so sit on enough support that the knees can descend and quieten down, and so that the spine, there's a lift in the sacrum and an extension and lift of the spine. From here, bring the hands into the prayer position. We'll begin the class with the 3 Oms. So let the eyes close. With the eyes closed, there's that internal focus. Be with your body, be with your breath. And we're just taking this time to separate your head mentally from the outside world to bring yourself to your mat. Emptying the lungs completely. A nice full breath in if you are chanting along. Be with your breath. Lift up your spine and your chest. On the next exhalation, drop your chin down. Let the back of the neck be long, the top shoulder be released. And then release your hands into your lap. Lift your head up and gently let the eyes open. Right, we're beginning in Dandasana. Again, Dandasana, if you need support to sit on to get that lift of the sacral region, get some support, some height underneath the buttocks. You want the legs extended. And you're pressing the thighs down, engaging the knees, rather than just working the thigh muscles and lifting the feet up. So let there be a settling down with the hands at your sides. You lift up the spine, you lift up your chest. The sides of the body have to lift. And keeping the thighs grounded and your spine fully extended, we're coming to Pajva Dandasana. Pajva means going to the side, so twisting to the right. Bring your left hand across. As you twist to the right, you want to take your right hand back. And at first, because it's just the first twist of the practice, you can keep the palm pressing into or against the thigh and use that leverage to bring this shoulder, left shoulder around. Lift the chest, shoulder blades in, and then on an exhalation, coming back to center. Be in Dandasana for a moment. Again, find that grounding of the legs, that extension of the spine. With a twist, you want to keep your alignment of the crown of the head over the perineum, so the sacrum is into the body and alert. Shoulder blades are in. Each exhalation, empty the abdomen, turn a little bit more. Each inhalation, you're using your left hand to extend the spine, press into the floor. On the next exhalation, come to the center again, to Dandasana, and release. Right, you're going to lie in Supta Tadasana now. Have a strap handy. Again, yes, if you don't have a strap, you can use the tie off your bathrobe, or you can just go steal one of your husband's ties. Right. Make sure that when you lie in Supta Tadasana, that you have the alignment of your shoulder girdle and your pelvic girdle. So if you're not used to practicing, look down your own body, line up your nose, your breastbone, your navel. And you can turn the palms to face up. When you turn the palms to face up, the bicep revolves from the inside to the outside, and that top shoulder has a better chance of releasing down to the floor, and there'll be a nice openness in the chest. If you have any neck issues, if you need any support for under the head, you're welcome to take a blanket. You normally take a blanket, eh? So if you don't want the blanket, you can set it aside. But if you do need some support for the head and the neck, take a folded blanket. Right, we're bringing the right leg up into Supta Padangustasana, into Parvatasana. In Parvatasana, you hug that shin into you, and at the same time, you want to press that left thigh down, roll the left inner thigh down to the floor. Each exhalation, just see, can you bring that thigh closer to your body? And keep that length in the right side of the waist by moving the root of the right thigh away from the armpit. So it's as if you're coiling your right buttock bone to the left foot. From here, Supta Padangustasana 1, hold the strap across in 2 hands, and the strap is on the ball of the foot. With the strap on the ball of the foot here, you want to extend the back of the leg completely, open up the back of the knee, and especially open this hamstring. Again, you're making the same adjustments to the pelvis to keep this length in the right waist. If you're very flexible, you can start to bring the leg a little bit towards you. You want to extend the heel away from you to get an openness in this Achilles tendon area, to get an openness in the back of the knee, and then maintaining that openness. Push the big toe mound into the strap, lift the big toe mound, make it tall, let go of the strap a little bit, let the big toe mound lift, 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 so you're stretching the inner line of the leg as well. Soften the throat. Relax the neck, the shoulders. As you exhale, if you're flexible enough and you want to now see, will the leg come? You can test, will it come? As that right leg comes, all your focus is on the right leg, but can you push this left inner thigh down? Taking both straps now in the right hand. You're going to keep your left hand on this left thigh to hold it down, and then take the right leg over. As you take the right leg over, especially if you're a beginner, rest the right elbow on the floor. It's absolutely fine to do so. As you take the right leg over, you want to open the pelvis. So don't feel like you're rolling onto that right leg. Very nice job here. You want to, from this right heel, retract back into the right hip and turn from the right hip to the left. It is sometimes helpful if you don't find that pinning this hand to this leg is very helpful. Sometimes taking the hand out at the shoulder is helpful too. And if you really do keep capsizing, then taking this left foot out is also helpful. It also gives a nice spread across the pelvis. Bring the leg up whenever you're ready and hug it into you again. And now with the leg bent, we're just going to come to a twist. So holding that right outer knee with your left hand, let this left leg turn against the floor and just drop this knee down. If you have trouble, if you have very tight glutes and a very tight back, and you're unable to get that shin comfortably on the floor, then either taking a stack of pillows or a bolster to rest that right shin, especially if you intend holding it. Again, if you're not a very good twister like Liz, you want to, and if this shoulder is lifting up and this arm is hanging precariously, you can bend the arm and just help to try and settle that shoulder down. Sometimes with the arm bent, it's a little bit more comfortable. Come back to center. Bend both knees. With both knees bent, hug them into you, get that length of the spine. Put the feet on the floor. Line up your shoulder girdle and your pelvic girdle. Prepare to come back to Supta Tadasana. In Supta Tadasana, we're repeating those actions. So first, that's right there. First, Pavamuktasana. So hugging that shin into you. Already engage that bottom, that right leg, press it down. So you're separating the legs. And as you exhale, relax the shoulders, the throat. As you exhale, press that thigh into your body, flatten the abdomen down. And then take the strap across the ball of the foot and we stretch the leg up. So first get that extension of the back of the leg. The strap is around the ball of the foot. Stretch the heel away from you, opening the back of the ankle, opening the back of the knee, especially opening the center back hamstring. Be here for a few breaths. Feel, are your shoulders released so you can take the upper arms into the shoulder socket a bit. Don't hold with your jaw. The root of this left thigh has to move away from the armpit. Strong leg. Extend into the heel. And then keeping that full extension of the back of the leg, start to extend the front of the leg more by extending the big toe mound up. So full action in the leg. Pressing this right thigh down. If it's within your practice to do so, bring that left leg closer. So ideally you want to eventually reach your toe, but work with where you're at. Work with this correct alignment in the hips. Don't pull on it with tight shoulders like it's some wild bull. Relax the face. And now, releasing a little bit, you can take both hands in the left, both straps in the left hand. Now, with firmness in this right leg. Although the left leg is going over, keep that left outer thigh firm against that leg, the bone. And then this left heel has to retract into towards the hip. You're rolling from the left hip to the right hip, the right thigh is pressing down. Again, if you need to have this elbow on the floor, it really is useful to stop you from capsizing. If it's helpful for you to take the right arm out to the side or to start with the right leg at a wider angle, then absolutely do. And if it's challenging to your groins and you need to bend the leg when you bring the leg up, go for it. Otherwise, bring the leg up, hug that knee into you again. And then holding with the right hand on that outer left knee, you're going to come to the twist. Once again, if you need the bolster, it is a much kinder kind of approach. So if you want the bolster to rest your shin on, that is lovely, especially if you're going to be holding it. If you're happy with the deep twist and you don't need it, remove the bolster. This outer left thigh, you have to move it away to keep that length in the front body. And you want to keep the chest lifted. So this shape is very important to remember. It's the same shape as Parivrtta Trikonasana pretty much. Right, leg back to center. And bend both knees, release the back. And we're coming to Anantasana. Anantasana is lying on your side. So some people really struggle with lying on the side. Here, you're going to extend your arm along the floor. If you look, there's a nice straight line from the hand, the elbow, the shoulder, the hip, the knee, the foot. So everything is in a straight line. A little trick is to keep the feet alert like Tadasana. So that acts as a little tripod to stop you from sort of falling all over the place, which is known to happen. If you really are still struggling and you cannot balance, then this bottom leg, you're going to keep the knees together, but you're going to bend this bottom leg back. And in bending the bottom leg back, there you have a little bit more of a tripod to support you. So legs are straight if you can manage them. You can also get yourself against a wall. We take the hand up in Anantasana. So bend the elbow. Your hand goes up on your head. Your gaze is just soft towards the chest. And here you have to find out, can I stack this top hip over the bottom hip without falling around? Once you think you've got it, so keep your gaze steady towards the center of your mat, front of your mat. And once you think you've got your balance, you can bring the top hand along your thigh. I'll give you a little bit of support if you need. And you're just going to be there a little bit. And then from here, we're working into Anantasana, the full Anantasana. So bend up the top leg. Feel if you can come into like the tree pose. And with this top leg bent, you're going to hold that front ankle. And with the front ankle, holding onto the front ankle, bring this top buttock in so much that your hip bone digs into your forearm. Once you're balanced there, you're going to bring this knee closer to your ear. Bring the knee closer to your ear. So lift the foot up. Bring the knee closer to your ear. Hold your big toe. If you cannot reach your big toe here, you would use your strap. And then from here, with a nice firm grip on the toe, start to straighten the leg. So you can either work to a point where you can't straighten anymore, so stop here. Or if you can straighten, you do. Or if you're stuck here, you'll use a strap. But if you can straighten, straighten completely. If you can't straighten completely, did I wobble you? If you can't straighten completely, then taking a strap is very useful. Keep this top buttock in. Exhale, in your own time, release that leg down, Anantasana. Right, we're going to turn around and come to the other side. So remember, first, line yourself up, get that armpit against the floor. Feel that your whole body is sort of stable along the floor. Take that time to just be here to find your stability. Then taking up the head, again, find your stability. So this creates more instability. Once that armpit is to the floor, finding your balance. When you're ready, bend up the leg to the tree pose. In this position, you can already get feedback here from this hip. The buttock comes in and that hip comes in to touch that forearm. Once you're comfortable there, keep the extended leg strong, holding on to the toe. Bring that knee towards your ear. Keep the buttock in so that the hips don't flop over and that you don't capsize. Then as you begin to straighten, you decide whether or not you need a strap. So this side is almost straight. Let's take the strap just to get it completely straight. Straighten both legs, lift your chest, straighten your spine, breathe. Each inhalation, stretch the legs, and then exhale, bend the leg, release, come back down, and then we're coming up to standing. Right, in Tadasana. So Tadasana, if you're able to take the feet together, you take the feet together. You can stand in the middle of your mat. We're coming to Trikonasana. You shouldn't need any support for Trikonasana, but yeah. So from Trikonasana, from Tadasana, you're gonna bring your fingertips to your chest and jump or step the feet apart. With the feet nicely distanced, so from the wrist bone, line up the ankles. You're gonna turn both feet to the right. As you just did in Anantasana, keep this buttock in, keep this groin open. The back leg, maintain its stability by tightening the knee on an exhalation. Lengthen this right side of the body, lengthen out of the right hip, come to Trikonasana. Take your hand lightly on that shin. Spread across the collarbones, this top hand comes up. Keep working. This bottom buttock bone, cut it in, and this front hip has to open up. Each inhalation, extend the spine. Each exhalation, bring that buttock in. Bring the shoulder blades in. If you're able to look up at your hand, you do. If you have any, don't throw the neck back of the neck long. If you have any neck issues, you just keep your head in the center or even head turned to the foot on the floor. On an inhalation, extend the spine. Exhale, press into the feet. Inhale, come up. Turn the feet. If you need to rest your hands, so turn the feet back to the center. If you need to rest in between the poses, rest your hands in this position and with the feet facing forward. When you're ready, Utthita Hastasana, turn the feet to the left, firm up the legs, extend the spine over. Line yourself up along that left leg. Try not to overreach that left arm so much, but rather get more stretch in this left side of the body. As you exhale, you bring this left buttock in, you turn the right hip out. You want to line yourself up over your leg, so lean the chest back and take the shoulders away from the ears. Lift your chest on an inhalation, push into that grounding foot, the back foot, and up you come. Turn the feet, step or jump, come back to Tadasana. In Tadasana, after a pose, Be soft. You don't have to hold the hands hard. You don't have to lock the elbows. You're breathing, you're feeling the effects of the pose. If you need more time in Tadasana, take as much time as you need in Tadasana. So Virabhadrasana 2, fingertips to the chest. And on an inhalation, step or jump the feet apart. Virabhadrasana 2 is the warrior 2 pose. Turn the feet to the right. Same action with the buttock. And on an exhalation now, you're going to bend this right knee and descend the right buttock down. If the knee comes over the ankle joint, move the back foot back. Take the back foot back so that the shin remains perpendicular to the floor. The knee joint is over the ankle joint and you're not gripping the toes. Beautiful. Nice lift of the sides of the body in the classic pose. You do turn to face the back leg, the front bent leg. Keep this back inner thigh strong. Keep bending, and then in your own time, when you're ready to come up, press into the heel and lift the shin bone to straighten the whole leg. Don't just think of locking the knee. Turn the feet. Now, come to Tadasana. So, for economy of action, we would normally do one pose to the one side and then to the other side. Again, as a beginner, there's no reason you cannot come to Tadasana in between. If you need to rest, you rest in Tadasana before going to the other side. Fingertips to the chest, step or jump the feet apart. Sorry to make you do extra work. Shoulders are away from the ears. Nice length in the body as you turn. Keep the hips facing forward and then bend. When you bend, resist with this back inner thigh. When you bend, descend the buttock. Get this left thigh to a 90 degrees. So bring the knee. The spine is upright. Liz is doing an excellent job of keeping the shoulder girdle over the pelvic girdle. Generally, people tend to go with the bent legs, so keep onto that back leg. And then when you're ready, press into that left heel, firm up that left leg to straighten. Come and make your way back to Tadasana. Once again, that soft Tadasana, that releasing, passive, quiet Tadasana. Just catching your breath, feeling the effects of the pose. Virabhadrasana 2, we'll move into Pajva Konasana. So same shape as Virabhadrasana 2 to begin, and then you're coming into Pajva Konasana. Now, if you're a beginner, you might not be able to reach your hand to the floor. There's a few hand positions that you can do. For today, we are keeping the hand behind the knee in the classic position. However, if you really cannot and you need to keep your elbow on your knee, then absolutely do that. Fingertips to the chest, blocks are behind you so you don't leap upon them, and jump the feet apart. Nice wide legs so that that bend doesn't become more than a right angle. Turn the feet to the right. Come through Virabhadrasana 2. Exhale. Extend your body over that bent leg and take your hand behind your knee. This top hand, you can take it up like Trikonasana. The classic shape, you turn the upper arm and you take the arm behind the ear. Breathe. Lift your chest. Shoulders away from the ears. Remember the strength in that back leg, it is your anchor, and you want a beautiful plumb line from this top hand through the whole body to the outer knee. And if you're not getting it, that's what's great about the brick. Inhale, press into the foot, straighten the leg as you come up. You can rest your arms, have a rest there, and then we'll prepare to go to the other side. So when you're ready and you've rested and you've caught your breath, arms extended, turn the feet, come to Virabhadrasana 2, extend over. So I'll show you what happens when I don't have a brick. Go all the way to the floor, arms over. So sometimes, oh, this is lovely here. Sometimes you have a nice big bump here and the bum sticks out at the back. So having a little bit of height, so take the height, having a little bit of height gives you a little bit more freedom. You can correct this angle of the body and get that buttock in more and open this hip back more. Push the knee against the hand. Don't let the knee come to the big toe. When you're ready, pressing into that front heel, strong legs come up, turn the feet, and then come together, Tadasana. And just have a few breaths here. So Pajva Konasana is one of the staple standing poses in Iyengar yoga. We're coming to Parsvottanasana. In Parsvottanasana, you might need bricks if you don't have the flexibility to get completely into Parsvottanasana. So once you've rested in your Tadasana, you want to now find that alertness in the spine, alertness in the legs and the arms, that call to action in preparation for Parsvottanasana. All the poses we've been doing up until now, open hip poses. Now we're closing the hips. Fingertips to the chest, jump the feet apart. Right, from here, you can take your hands onto your hips, turn the hips towards the, sorry, did I put the bricks on the left side of the mat? I did. So turn the bricks, turn your hips, face your bricks, the back foot, extend down through that back heel. So the back hip wants to stay behind, the front hip wants to lead. You want to square off the hips, which is why the hands on the hips is so such a nice way of doing it. Exhale, come forward, keeping the back leg strong. Take your hands onto your bricks. Bring the bricks in line with your ankle. Now, your hips want to slope towards that front leg. You want to keep this back leg hip, the front hip has to move towards the arms, and the front leg, that hip has to move back. If the back heel comes up a little bit, don't fret about it. It's not ideal. You want to keep moving into the back heel, but also you want to correct the hips. So see how you go. You can also use a wall for the back foot. Now we're coming into a twist. So if you have back issues, Parivrtta Trikonasana is excellent. If you're a beginner, it's really hard. If you're a beginner, you're going to keep this hand on the inside of the foot, and then you're twisting towards that front leg. So it is a little bit tricky to maintain your balance, especially if you're on a high brick. You don't normally use the high brick, so take the bricks down. So you only take whatever support is comfortable and appropriate for you in your practice. Liz has had a lot more experience, so she can take the brick down a little bit. You want to keep the hips level. You can see here, this shoulder blade we're bringing into the body. Coming back to, so I'm making her do it with the hand in front, but it's not ideal. Come back to Parsvottanasana. Now, in the classic Parivrtta Trikonasana, you actually want to bring your hand to the outside of the foot. So you're crossing over. Far more challenging. See if you're able to do it. Keep the hips working strongly and you're turning the body. If you're able to take the hand up, then absolutely do. Keeping the top hand in the waist is fine. Release when you're ready. Come back to Parsvottanasana. Be in Parsvottanasana. Suddenly, Parsvottanasana is going to feel like a restorative after Parivrtta Trikonasana. And then it's very tempting just to step forward, but get into the habit of firming the legs. Imagine you ripping the mat apart, strong legs to stand, turn the feet, and either step. So you've got your bricks in the way, so get your legs to step together without causing yourself any injury. Right, we're going to turn to face, no, let's go the other way. Yes, I thought we'd turn to face me, but let's rather move the bricks. So now we're going to the other side. You're going to step, jump the feet apart. Hands on the hips, turn the hips, turn the feet, come to Parsvottanasana. So the front foot turns completely. The back foot turns not like Trikonasana, but also not like Adho Mukha, exactly like this, a 45-degree angle. Now your job in Parsvottanasana is to square off the hips. So that sacrum needs to be level to the floor. The leg, the back leg, that hip bone, can you turn it to face the floor? Can you turn it to face your hands? The front leg, keep it firm, suck up that front thigh, move the front hip and groin back. Now, take the left hand, or whichever hand is on the inside of the foot, keep that hand on the inside of the foot. Take your opposite hand onto the hip, and we're coming to a twist. So you don't have to take your hand up, you can keep it there. And when you've practiced like this for a bit, exhale, come down to Parsvottanasana. If you're very wobbly, you can also take the support of a wall, right? If you have a more advanced practice, it's good to repeat these poses. So we'll repeat now, taking the hand onto the outside of the front foot. Yes. On the outside, yes. And then the opposite hand in the waist and turn. So with the hand on the outside, you're better able to bring this bottom shoulder blade into the body. Once you've been there for a few breaths, you can extend your arm or not. In your own time, you'll release and come down. Strong legs, come to Parsvottanasana. Strong legs, lift up. Turn the feet, and then you can just walk them together, coming to Tadasana. Be in Tadasana for a few breaths. Feel the effects of that twist on the abdomen, on the spine. Just relax here for a few moments. We'll go into a quick Prasarita Padottanasana, which is a good preparation for Shirshasana. You don't need to do it if you don't have time, but step the feet apart. Keep the outer edges of the feet parallel to the outer edges of the mat. Legs are firm, and you're bringing your hands underneath your shoulders. So you may need your bricks for this if you're not very flexible. Otherwise, hands underneath the shoulders works just fine. Again, you want to just be here. It's a restorative pose. You're resting the heart, catching your breath. Shoulders away from the ears still. Knees are still strong, so the legs are still holding you. So to prepare, if you don't do Shirshasana, you're going to keep working in Prasarita Padottanasana. And as the body starts to unfold in this pose, you can start to walk your hands back and extend your head down towards the floor by bending the elbows. So if you don't yet do inversions and Shirshasana, this is a good practice. If you really cannot do this, then you're going to lie in Supta Baddha Konasana. If you're doing Shirshasana, if inversions are part of your normal practice, we'll now do Shirshasana. So using your arms, come up. So we're now coming to Shirshasana. Shirshasana is your head balance. If you do not have a head balance practice, an inversion practice, now is not the time to start one. Find yourself a teacher or a really good friend that you can practice with and maybe help each other. Check out tutorials, but don't do it for the first time online without supervision. If you've never done a Shirshasana, you're just going to simply take your legs up the wall in Urdhva Prasarita. You will come to the wall, back up so that your butt is really close to the wall, your feet are out of the way. Don't come forward when you start to drop and roll. Really hunker down so that your buttocks stay close to the wall. And when you roll in a scrunched up manner, your buttocks should reach the wall. You're just going to line your shoulders, line your hips, align your feet, and you'll be here in Urdhva Prasarita Padasana. Right? If you are doing Shirshasana, you're going to lay your blanket on the floor. It's just kinder to your head to have a blanket, especially if you are on a hard floor. And we'll come to interlacing the fingers right to the webbing. Especially in winter, often we have long sleeves. It is better to lift the sleeves up so that you've got skin on the support. And once your head is down, you also shouldn't have all this jewelry and impediments, but we'll leave it for now. Okay, keep the elbows in line with the shoulders. And the shoulder blades are so important in Shirshasana because they keep that length of your neck. So once you take your knees up, once your head is settled and you take your knees up, you're going to, I'm going to be Liz's wall, absolutely take a wall for support. You're going to come up to Shirshasana. In Shirshasana, you want to just find your balance. You want to keep the shoulders lifted. The forearms are the base of this pose. So you press the forearms in, you lift the shoulder blades up. You can see she's got a lovely length in her back, so the buttocks should defy gravity. You want the buttocks to extend to the legs. The legs have to be absolutely active in your Shirshasana. You continually keep working from the base. Keep pressing into the forearms, lifting the shoulder blades. And with that lift of the shoulder blades, feeling that there's space for the neck is long. You're not compressing and scrunching your neck in any way. If you're new to Shirshasana and you've only begun it in your practice, don't yet do inversions with variations. Do the straight up inversion and build up your endurance in it. If you'd like to do a variation today, we're doing Ekapada. So Ekapada, one leg. keeping one leg tall, the other leg you're going to bring it down. It depends on your flexibility, on your stability, whether you're able to get it all the way down with this top leg up. And then when you lift the leg up, you lift both legs. So if it throws you off balance, don't do it. If it throws you, if that foot gravitates and pushes you down, then you'll have to unfortunately bunny hop to come up. But you're trying to keep a control of the legs, both legs, as you come down. When you're ready, you're going to release down now out of your Shirshasana. See, that one's come out a little bit. Rest with the head down, especially if you've been up for a while, or if you're new to Shirshasana, take time to release out of it. Relax the arms, relax the neck and the shoulders. Some people like to do child's pose with the hands behind towards the feet. If that's more comfortable for you, if it's more releasing for you after your Shirshasana, absolutely do it. Do what feels right for you. We're coming now to Adho Mukha Virasana. So you're going to take your toes together and your knees apart. You don't need any support on your mat. Your knees are way too wide. The knees are only wide enough that they comfortingly support the sides of the body. Yeah. From here, you extend the arms forward. Adho Mukha Virasana is a lovely restorative pose. So once you're out of your inversion, even once you've taken the leg up the wall variation, to begin the next phase of our session, we're starting in this pose. When you feel ready, engage the arms, stretch the arms, and come to Adho Mukha Svanasana. Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. In downward facing dog, you want to keep the openness in your armpits. So lock the elbows, arms are strong. Keep the shoulder blades coming in so that the chest is nice and open. If you are very flexible, you do want to kind of control that the front ribs don't just go shooting forward, but yours are fine. Don't worry about yours. Move. So you want to coil the triceps towards the face so that there's openness in the top shoulder, spread in the top shoulder, and keep locking the elbows and lifting the forearms away from the floor. Your heels, you're aiming to get them on the floor if you can. If not, then don't stress about it. Adho Mukha Svanasana is a great pose to develop upper body strength, also flexibility. At any point, if you need, you're going to take your knees to the floor, toes together, knees to the floor, and rest in Adho Mukha Virasana. Adho Mukha Svanasana, not only does it develop upper body strength, but it's also a wonderful pose to go into Palakasana, the plank pose. And we're also going to attempt Vasisthasana today. So we're going to do the first Adho Mukha Svanasana with the feet apart. And when you come to the plank, the feet are going to be apart. When we turn to Vasisthasana in the plank, we are going to do two variations, feet apart and feet together. For now, feet are apart. You firm up the thighs, grip up the knees. And when you come forward to the plank Palakasana, you have to keep the abdomen strongly pulling back. There will be a roundness across the back. You're pushing the hands into the floor, arms are strong. And when you're ready to come out of Palakasana, you push and you lift the thighs and the hips and you come to Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward dog, to release out of Palakasana. It is a very beneficial pose to start developing your weight bearing. So again, we're going to come to Palakasana in the plank position. Now, to come to Vasisthasana, we're not going to stack the legs at first. You're just going to roll. You're going to turn to your right. You're going to roll onto the outer right foot, onto the inner left foot, and come up. Keep the head in line with the spine. So keep the head up. On an exhalation, release and come back to your plank. And then again, you're just going to turn the feet to the side. So you're on the inner right foot, the outer left foot. This isn't the classic way of doing it, but it stabilizes the pose. And for beginners, it's a lot kinder. When you're ready, you'll exhale, release, and come down. Again, knees to the floor, release in Adho Mukha Virasana. So in the classic Vasisthasana, You don't just turn so that one foot stays in front of the other. In the classic Vasisthasana, the bottom foot, you keep pressing down and then the top foot stacks on top of it. Once you've had a rest and you're ready to do Vasisthasana, let's go. From Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog, come to the plank, Palakasana, also known as Kumbhakasana. Now when you turn, I turn onto the outer edge of the right foot, press the sole of the right foot down and stack the left foot on top. This right hip has to be strong, the chest has to open. You don't hold for too long, especially if you're a beginner. Come down. From the plank, roll onto the outer edge of the left foot, the right foot stacks on top. This left outer thigh and hip have to be firm and you open your chest as best you can. From here, when you've held it for a few breaths, you release. Come either straight to Adho Mukha Virasana, or if you have it in you to go to downward dog, go to downward dog, and then release in Adho Mukha Virasana. Vasisthasana in the classic pose, when you come into Vasisthasana, when you're aligned like so, if you are able to bring your leg up in Anantasana, then you're going to take your leg up in Vasisthasana. But if you are unable to, you can use a strap, but it's not as stable. So once you've developed enough strength in your Vasisthasana, then know that your next option is to start lifting that leg and challenging yourself into a little bit of a deeper Vasisthasana. All right, we've coming to Setu Bandha now. Setu Bandha, we're doing on a brick just to relax the shoulders a little bit, quieten the arms, and also give us a chance to catch our breath. Nice openness in the chest, nice openness in the abdomen. So if you were contracting quite vigorously for Palakasana, you can relax here now. So here the abdomen is spread and released. Keep your head in the center. There's no support under the shoulders like we use for shoulder balance. So that Jalandhara Bandha chin lock will be a little bit more intense. Back of the neck, make sure it's long so that you're not forcing or straining the neck when you do this Jalandhara Bandha. In the Setu Bandha, your legs can be together or apart. It is easier with the feet apart. Setu Bandha is done with legs straight. So if you have no back issues, you'd like to extend the legs here, you're welcome to. If you're unable to get the feet down and you want to keep the feet up and dig into the heel, that's also okay. And absolutely, if you want to take the feet apart, do. Any catching in the back, any discomfort, bend up the knees and rather do Setu Bandha with the knees bent. From Setu Bandha, we're going to go into Salamba Sarvangasana, which is our shoulder balance. To release, you're going to lift up the brick, turn it on its side, bring it horizontally across the hips, settle there. Each time you lower the brick, you want to extend your spine from the neck to the tailbone, so let there be a length in the spine as you release until eventually you're flat on the floor. So, Salamba Sarvangasana is shoulder balance. We do it on supports. You can either take a whole stack of blankets, or if you're fortunate enough to have shoulder balance to create a platform, then that's great. Shoulder balance foams. These shoulder balance foams are just little A4 foam blocks, and they create a nice little platform so that when you go over and you get that Jalandhara Bandha, you're not digging the base of the neck, that C7 bone, too harshly into the ground. In shoulder balance, you want to have a strap measured up from outer shoulder to outer shoulder. That strap is going to hold your elbows in position, and that provides a really nice structure that you can lift and launch off in your shoulder balance. You'll have a blanket to just keep all of these foams in position. Also provides a nice slip for the neck to move. And a second blanket just to provide some softness for the head. Don't fold it up too much so that you don't lose that platform. When you first lie down to come to shoulder balance, you're going to have your head on this blanket, your shoulders on the support, and your buttocks towards the floor on the other end. If you struggle with kicking up in Halasana, then you're going to use the support of the wall to take your feet over against the wall. Now, before you go into placing the strap in position, if you do not do shoulder balance, what you're going to do is Setu Bandha here. You're going to lift your buttocks up. You will take your strap onto your wrists, or you can clasp them as we did before. And with the strap on the wrists, just lengthening the wrists, lifting the buttocks, be here for a few breaths. When you need a rest, you come down. Then try again and again. If you're doing shoulder balance, you're going to kick your feet over your head, either to the floor in Halasana or to a wall. So if I were a wall, you could hold onto the wall with your feet, or take the feet to the floor if you're able to. Once you've got your strap on now, the strap is above the elbow. So once the strap is above the elbow, you hold as low down on your back as possible, and then you take your legs one up at a time. If you're not doing shoulder balance and you're doing Setu Bandhas, when you've had enough, you release, you come down and you rest. In shoulder balance, you want to create a plumb line. So here you can see there's an absolutely straight line from the shoulders, through the hips, through the knees, through the ankles. That is what you're trying to achieve. In the beginning, however, your hands might be closer to your bum and your feet might be coming well over your head, so you can show what not to do. Do you remember? So initially your shoulder balance will start like that, and then you just keep reaching up the legs, keep bringing the buttocks in, keep using the hands lower and lower down to support. Keep the back of the neck long and the throat soft. Keep the sides of the body long and lifted. In Setu Bandha, if you are still lifting and coming down, you can finish off with the Setu Bandha on bricks. In shoulder balance, if you're comfortable in Salamba Sarvangasana, you want to just be here for a few breaths. You keep coming down to the base, that outer upper arm cuts in, you lift up onto the top shoulder. The back of the head is not pressing hard into the floor, but it definitely is stable there. Keep the head centered. Once you've lifted up and created a beautiful shoulder balance shape, you keep the gaze towards the solar plexus region, towards the heart center, keeping the mind quiet also. When the pose feels heavy, when you can no longer keep, that lightness and that sense of balance, again, open your eyes up towards your feet, realign, re-engage, do what you can to get that perfect structure of shoulder balance. If you had time, you could also do variations here. Ekapada is the one leg that we did for head balance. You're trying to keep that top leg in its position, and when you lift both legs. Don't just lift the leg that's down. So from Sarvangasana, line up the legs, keep that top leg absolutely in position, buttocks in, and with an exhalation, let that one leg come down to the floor past your head. When you lift that leg up, you lift both legs up. You hold the variations, you hold shoulder balance only as long as you can within your body's capacity, listening to your body. When you feel ready, you're going to come down. So you can either come one leg at a time or two legs together. Keep the lift of the buttock bones as long as you can so that the sides of the body are long. From Halasana, when you remove your strap, set it aside so you don't roll onto the metal bits. You're going to protect your back as you unroll. Slowly unroll out of it. Don't whip your head up. You want to keep the head down so you can keep your knees bent, roll out of it, and then scoot yourself off your bolster, off your foams and blankets so that only the head is supported. So now the shoulders are on the floor. The neck and the throat are relaxed on the edge of that support. There's a softness in the throat. The head is on the supports. And just be here for a few breaths. Especially if you hold shoulder balance for long, there's a lovely release and sense of release in the neck and shoulder region when you come out of Salamba Sarvangasana. We've come now to the end of our practice. So if you are in an area that's quite cold, you'll want to put your warm goodies on. You can also put a blanket on top of your mat to keep you warm. The only other support you need for Shavasana are maybe a blanket for your head and neck, if that's comfortable for you. If you want to close your eyes, if it's helpful for you to have something to close the eyes to keep the room dark and distractions at bay, then you can either have an eye bag if you possess one, or simply taking your strap, folding it in half, folding it in half again, gives you a little bit of something just to lay over the eyes. If it's uncomfortable for you to have something on your eyes and you do not want it, take it away. Remember, in Shavasana, it is also an asana, so you want that alignment of the body from the nose to the breastbone to the navel. There's a straight line. As you're online, you might need to check for yourself. And then the left and the right arms are equidistant from the midline. The legs flop out evenly from the midline. Relax the feet, relax the hands, relax the face, relax the spine. As you exhale, soften the skin of the body, especially the skin of the face, the cheeks, the mouth. As you exhale, relax the muscles, any muscles that you're holding tight or tense. And with that release of the muscles, feel even the joints, the ligaments, the tendons of the body, just softly releasing all tension as you surrender into this Shavasana pose, surrendering to Mother Earth. Soft inhalations, soft, peaceful exhalations. If you get distracted by sounds, by sensations in your body, if you get distracted by thoughts, come back to your breath. Find that quietness, that release once more. The exhalation took you into your Shavasana state. Now you're going to use the inhalation to bring you up out of it. So as you slowly start to breathe deeper with each inhalation, start to feel that breath moving to every cell of the body. With each inhalation, as you touch every cell of the body with that breath, that vital pranic energy, can you feel how slowly, slowly your body is resurfacing to full consciousness? Bringing your hands anywhere on your torso where it's comfortable for you. Just be there with your breath. Feel the breath, connect with your breath. On the next breath in, you can stretch your arms over your head. You can release the eye cover at the same time. Give your body a nice, long, deep stretch. Yawn or sigh the breath out. Then bending your knees, roll onto your right side. Your head is cradled in your right arm for a few more breaths. The left side of the body is just holding you in this quiet Shavasana state that you can hopefully tap into throughout your day. When you feel ready and the eyes want to open, you're going to press into your left hand, come up slowly, bringing the head up last. Once you're seated, find that extension of your spine once more. Hands in the prayer position, let the eyes close. With the eyes closed, just feel how your body feels. Feel how you feel mentally, emotionally. With a small smile on your face, take a moment here to give thanks for the health and strength of your body. On the next breath in, let the eyes gently flutter open and focus. Namaste.
Namaste.
Thank you. Thank you, Liz.
Thank you, Carla.
Thank you for joining us. See you next time. Cool.